Hello, everybody. Now, I know that throughout the NBA season, who's going to be the next face of the league? That's been a nauseating topic, just as nauseating as the Jordan and LeBron debate. But today I'm going to react to Kofie, who's also another one of my favorite NBA content creators, who's just not about the narratives, not about all this other extra shit. Just want to see hoops, good hoops. All this other stuff don't really mean much. So I'm going to react to his video called First Take, and ESPN keep trying to force the face of the NBA.
We've had a lot of great basketball this playoffs. We've had a lot of playoff games and playoff series that have gone well. I know that we're right in the middle of Thunder, Timberwolves, and Pacers, Knicks right now. But there's something that's been really, I don't know, not bugging me, but something that I've been keeping an eye on. And it's the fact that ESPN keeps trying to make the face of the league talk happen. We keep trying to make the face of the league talk happen, and it's been peculiar to me because you don't need to make a face of the league happen. The face of the league just happens. It happens naturally.
I mean, that's what Charles Barkley talked about. I think it was either Tuesday or Sunday, one of those days, where Barkley was like, you can't just make Anthony Edwards the face of the league. It has to happen, like what he said, it has to happen organically. Maybe in LeBron's case, he just immediately became the face of the league as soon as he got drafted, but he kind of wasn't pushed. Like Kobe was still in his prime by the time LeBron got drafted. So this thing here, as LeBron gets older, Steph and Durant, Giannis just is 30, Jokic is 30, trying to force a 23-year-old to be the face of the league after Jason Tatum just won a title and has openly said he wants to be the face of the league. But y'all don't want to give that to him. You want to give it to someone who hasn't really matured yet as an NBA player. Go ahead, do you.
There's no coronation. There's no ceremony. There's no official passing of the torch. There's no keys to the league thing, right? That's never been the case. But we keep talking about it as it's something that we just give to someone. And this has been happening for a couple of months, and this kind of stems from ESPN having to make their own criteria for what the face of the league is. Well, I say ESPN, but it's mostly First Take and Stephen A. Smith. But with how much they've paid Stephen A. Smith and how much they broadcast him and how much they put him on the air, I can honestly just say ESPN, and it makes sense. And that's not a good thing. You know what else is not a good thing? Saying that the international players cannot be the face of the NBA. I don't believe that that's true, and I think that does some real damage to the game. Like, it's supposed to be the global game for a reason. Saying
It is supposed to be a global game. Like Luka, Slovenia, Jokic, Serbia, Giannis, Greece, all these Canadian players doing their thing, and Murray and R.J. Barrett, Shea, Nickeil Alexander-Walker to a lesser degree. All these players that have came from different countries, but an international player can't be the face of the NBA. I don't even want to know why he even said that. That makes no sense.
that an international player cannot be the face of the NBA is really weird to me when you have so many good You have so many good international players, right? You have Giannis, you have Jokic, you have Shea, you have Luka, you have Wemby. I think it will be Wemby eventually, but we don't have to talk about this now. That's where I'm coming from. But the thing is that I was gonna stop making a video on this, but the playoff coverage, this has kind of seeped through, and one of the main focuses is Anthony Edwards. They keep talking about making Anthony Edwards the face of the NBA, and I'm going to explain why this is weird all in just a second. If you're new here, welcome in, and if you know me, welcome back. Thank you to everyone that has liked, commented, subscribed to the channel. Thank you for everyone that has followed me on YouTube. Thank you to those of you that have followed me on Twitch. I have started streaming a little bit more on YouTube, Twitch, and Playback TV, so if you want to follow me on all of those platforms, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay too. And the best way to support me is to subscribe to me on Nebula. Nebula is an ad-free streaming service. It is my YouTube videos ad-free. It's the best way to support content creators like myself also on that platform. You get my videos in advance, and you also get them ad-free. It's the best way to support me, and I appreciate you guys. But let's get back into the video. Now, the thing about Anthony Edwards is that he has already stated that he's not interested in trying to be the face of the league. That's not something he's trying to do. All right, we gotta just say this right now. It is something that he is not interested in trying to do. And First Take and Stephen A. Smith have talked about Anthony Edwards being the face of the potential face of the NBA. And like, the thing is that it says Stephen A. Smith wishes he would want to be the next face of the NBA, which again, you don't decide a face of the NBA. It just happens. It just happens. And keep in mind is that Stephen A. Smith wants the face of the NBA to be American so badly. And you're asking me why I cover this, because it starts at the national level. It often seeps into the sports radio, local sports radio level, the podcasting level, the local level, because it becomes something to talk about. So while this is all going on, we are now talking about what a face of the league should be, even though it's something that it just happens, right? When LeBron became the face of the league, we didn't all have a sit down and take a vote. It feels really weird that there's just a lot of campaigning going on. But the reason why I'm saying this is because 8 days ago, Stephen A. Smith is like, Anthony Edwards is the face of the NBA. Okay, that's the thing. You can't just say that someone is the next face of the NBA. That just comes out of nowhere, right? It never trying to crown someone the next face of the NBA when they really don't want it. Like, it's really like Jon Snow when he's like, I don't want the Iron Throne, and they're like, no, you should be, and he's like, I don't want it. And LeBron said it best. He's like, why would you want to be the face of the NBA with the way that we cover our superstars?
Yeah. See, and that's something he said. That's something LeBron said earlier. I think it was like at the midway point of the regular season.
Why do you want to be the face of a league when all the people that that cover our game and talk about our game on a day-to-day basis on everybody? Ant said he don't want it. Obviously I didn't ask for it, but I knew there was a responsibility for me, not only to my family, my friends, my community, and whoever that was going to follow my journey throughout my career, not only in Ohio when I started there, but all over America and all over the world when I traveled all over the world. So I've always taken that seriously and understood from the beginning what being a professional was all about and being a role model was all about. So try to hold that with the utmost respect and honor. But I understand. I completely understand. This is weird energy when it comes to that. So
that's how far back when he said that. It's a great point that he made. It's a great question, because that's why Stephen A. feels compelled to just give that responsibility to Anthony, because no one else wants it. No one else has openly said, yeah, I want to be the face, except Tatum. But Stephen A. don't look at Tatum like that. He don't even look at Halliburton as a superstar. And he is killing the Knicks, his favorite team. Up 3-1. Just had a 32, 12, 15, 4, 0 turnovers. But he's not a superstar. Okay.
I'm gonna get to that in a second. Alright. What do you mean that his game doesn't... Oh, boy. Okay.
But when you got a cat like Ant-Man potentially getting to the NBA Finals, that changes it. Because that's the new blood you want to see. And so even though he said he wasn't interested in being the face, here's the bottom line. His game doesn't tell us that.
Like, that's the thing where it's like you're trying so hard to make someone that doesn't want to be the face. Because think about what comes with being the face of the league. You have to be like not like the most like very very marketable, but also like a good influence on and off the court. It's like you want this guy to be the...
And anyone who knows about Anthony's transgressions off the court knows why he doesn't want to be the face of the league. I don't know if Stephen A. knows about Anthony's baby mama drama off the court, but you should.
Reflection of what the NBA is supposed to be. And if someone doesn't want that response, you shouldn't try to force that on anyone, honestly.
Shai Gilgeous got that kind of swag and attitude, but in the same breath is mellow. Well, you know what? When you box office, there's only one person who's allowed to be mellow, and that was Carmelo. That was it. Everybody else, nah, we don't want the mellow. We want that swag that Ant-Man brings to the table.
All right. How is Shea? How is Shea just not... I just do not get how Anthony Edwards is such a face of the league, but Shea can't be. I do not get that. I know
because of all that foul baiting shit that he be doing.
that Shea is he's going through his foul merchant allegations right now, which are also completely stupid. It's crazy. It's that like you have this player that is the best player on a 68 win team, and they can't even be considered the face of the league. And again, it all comes back to me being like, well, SGA is Canadian. Does the face of the league really have to be an American that badly? No, not in my opinion. Now, I will say, Anthony Edwards had the most interesting starting five of season 1. I said that he had the most interesting. He has the personality. Yes, he has the personality to be a fun character in the NBA. But there are a lot of people in the NBA that have had fun character traits and been fun, like interesting and fun to watch. There's so many players in the league that have done that in the past.
If starting 5 season 2, because starting 5 season 2, I don't know who else it features, but it features Tyrese and Shea. So if it shows them in a good light, the way it showed Anthony Edwards in season 1 of starting 5, then those face of the league conversations will ramp up in a better perspective for either Shea or Tyrese, whichever one comes out and wins it all, because Shea's already in the finals. And we're still waiting on whether Tyrese will win it in 5, 6, or 7. I don't know.
There are so many. That doesn't make someone the face, because it's like, oh, he hoops pretty well, but like also he's cool. Like I feel like SGA also has swag though. That's the thing. That's where I'm like, all of these arguments to me.
Do you not see Shea's pregame fits? Yes, he's got swag.
Do not land. they just don't land at all. Because we were having SGA aura talks. We were having SGA aura talks like months ago, and now that team is actually good, it's turned to hate, right? I feel like if Anthony Edwards was put on that 68 win team, there would be a lot of other haters as well. So I feel like I'm just so conflicted here, man. I just don't. Also, this wasn't even the prompt. Stephen A just wanted to talk about the face of. Yeah, okay, yeah, this was. Anyway, that was not the point of the video. The point of the video is that the reason why I'm making this video is that this was said 8 days ago as I make this video. So this is again another topic that ESPN, Stephen A. Smith, is another topic that Stephen A. Smith keeps trying to make happen, right? Keeps trying to make happen, and we're all just like, hey, can we enjoy the playoffs? I don't know, right? And then Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves run into an absolute buzzsaw that is the Oklahoma City Thunder, right? So Thunder handled game 1 and game 2. They got drubbed by 40 in game 3, and then they win game 4. So as I make this, the Thunder are currently up 3-1 over the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's what Stephen A. Smith has had to say about Anthony Edwards being the potential face of the league now. Oh, by the way, 8 days ago on the Rich Eisen show, Stephen A. Smith talked about how Ant-Man could be the new face of the NBA. So I guess he did this just like twice and whatnot. And then after game 4, now we get Ant-Man crowned new face of the league too soon.
Oh my God.
Too soon? By who? Who did that? We're all looking for who's doing this. So I do want to lead off with this. Anthony Edwards had an off night, which is something that you're allowed to do, by the way. Off nights happen. He had back.
Off nights is fine, but when you're down 2-1 at home and all your role players are stepping up, and we look at Randall, who had 5 points, and Edwards didn't shoot the ball until 35 seconds left in the first quarter. It looks kind of fishy, especially when you only lose by 2 points.
To back 30-point games before then, and is significantly outmanned in this series. Like, the Thunder have way more talent than the Timberwolves do, right? So yeah, as the Thunder are one of the best defensive teams I've ever seen, it's no surprise that Anthony Edwards had an off night, right? He's also facing he's getting the book thrown at him. Honestly, he's getting the defensive playbook thrown at him. And this game, he got 5 points from Julius Randle. All right, let's just keep that in mind. Like this Thunder team is a buzzsaw. But instead of, I feel like we're not going to credit how good the Thunder are in this segment. Also, side note, I didn't know that both Morris twins got first take gigs. You know what? Tangent time. I'm going to say this right now. It bothers me how many former athletes are getting ESPN gigs now.
Bring real journalism back. That's what they're saying on my timeline. That's what I'm saying right now. Bring real journalism back. Because all these former athletes, whether they here on ESPN or on Gilbert Arenas' podcast, where they just say whatever, on that FanDuel show called Running Back with Chandler Parsons and Lou Williams, DeMarcus Cousins. There's way too many former players. I thought it was cool at first when we just had a couple. Now I see every show has a former player talking basketball. FS1, that show Speak, or Facility with Acho, Shady McCoy, James Jones. That show, I'm surprised that hadn't been canceled yet. That was a new thing since Undisputed went the tank, but still, I'm surprised that show is still running, because I've not seen not one good opinion. Maybe in football, but since football season ended, I ain't seen not one good opinion on that show since the Super Bowl ended. That's a damn shame.
Now, while we just had Around the Horn cut from the schedule entirely, and Around the Horn was one of the, if it was besides PTI, Around the Horn was the only, I think it's the only show,
R.I.P. Around the Horn, one of the GOATs.
on their docket that revolved around print journalists. It revolved around writers and journalists. Because now, and I know that Tim Calishaw, he said that in his final FaceTime, he's like, ESPN's turning away from that. I know, I have no problem with players in the media and new media, but you have to have a balance. You have to have a balance or this all gets out of whack. It's gonna get weird. Like, we think that these like players are why we're tuning into ESPN or whatnot, and that's all well and good. I just don't believe that that's the case. Like, I'm not tuning into First Take because Kendrick Perkins and the Morris twins are on the TV.
No.
I'm turning on the ESPN because it's just something to put on. That's where I am at this stage. Like, I think that now that Around the Horn is gone, this bugs me a little bit more. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm going to say we didn't crown him too soon. I'm not going to say that at all. It's just that SGA is somebody that we need to pay rapt attention to because his personality is smooth, mellowed, etc. But the brother's an assassin. Averaged 32 a game this year, won league MVP.
Actually, yeah, we all do this thing in sports where someone good or someone cool gets good, and we shower them with so much praise. And then they have like one small misstep or they come up short, and then it's like, now it's time. It's like, we got him. We got you. It's like, oh, now you didn't get the job done. You had all this hype that was given to them by us, by the way. We have all this hype, and now we can talk about your flaws and whatnot. And it just bothers me that this is the cycle.
Because I think he is legit. It's that we need to elevate the legitimacy of a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Even as a league MVP, he still needs to be elevated because he's telling us he's on the verge of being a champion too.
Remember, as I'm saying this, Stephen A. Smith said that the face of the league has to be American, or it can't be international.
You got to check the boxes when you're the face of the league. Yes, we know you got to have your signature shoe. You're going to be in commercials. You're going to have the highlights. You got to have the game. But you know what else you got to have? You got to be a role model, right? And things outside the lines matter. Now, if you go down the list of all the faces of the league in the history of the game,
okay,
you look at Larry Bird,
okay,
Magic Johnson,
okay. Oh.
Whoa. Did he not watch Showtime? That Magic had AIDS. He had AIDS for a reason. How could you forget that, Perk?
Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Shaq, LeBron, Steph. What did they all have in common? While they was playing in the league, they all were family men.
All right, I saw this clip on Twitter, and the fact that he called he said family men and then included Shaq and Magic Johnson. That is one of the most wow.
Oh yeah, Shaq too. Shaq still heavily regrets divorcing from Shawnee. Cause he ain't growed up then. He kind of hasn't grown up now. You mentioned Magic and Shaq, cause they're far away from being family men.
This is what we're left with after Around the Horn is gone. Just makes
and the fact that these two or Stephen A ain't pushed back, that's another problem with me personally. I see these dumbass comments all the time, made by people who are on TV every single day. They say this dumb shit, and no one pushes back. No one says, no, you're wrong. This happened, that, and the third. Like, that, they're not what you say they were. But I don't know. I don't know why that no one pushes back when someone misinforms. Like Cheryl Swoop did a lot of misinformation towards Caitlin Clark, and that's why she's out of a job.
And it doesn't make my job easier. It's not be like, oh, the content creators are actually doing good coverage. I'm like, no, I want there to be good sports coverage everywhere I go. I want there to be a standard. I want there to be accountability. I want there to be.
It is sad that Kofie, if you're watching this, I do agree with you. It is sad. It is sad that you, Kenny Beecham, Pee Wee, Rusty Buckets, Dom 2K, and all the other NBA YouTube creators, content creators, got more intelligence than the folks on TV.
Actual thought and effort put into these statements that we put in all these continental breakfasts and Best Westerns, and you have this TV platform. People are gonna blindly follow it, but we're not gonna just erase the past.
They all were married with kids, and if you think that don't play a role as far as the role model, this is facts. This is not something that I'm making. Hold on, but this is not something that I'm making up.
Steve Davis about to be like, dude, what? Look at his face right now. Look at his face. He's like, ugh.
What happened to them after they retired, that's their business. But while they are playing on what's playing, they were family men, married with kids.
Well, let's say this. First of all, let's be fair here.
I think that that just makes it just so weird is that there's no need to have this conversation right now. Like this whole face of the league up in the air thing, it's like it kind of seeks of desperation to have someone to always pinpoint your ire of, someone to always, it's like you guys are trying to preemptively fix your content schedule once LeBron leaves, and once Steph leaves, and once Kevin Durant leaves, and once James Harden leaves, and once Russell Westbrook leaves, because you can go through the motions in basketball coverage as much as you want, right? You can just talk about LeBron, you can just talk about Russell Westbrook, you can talk about Steph Curry, and if he's a top 10 point, there's so many things you can talk about day in and day out to go through the motions. And First Take benefits so much from having a big digital footprint that it's too big to just search through, right? They have a 2-hour talk show that they talk about 5 days a week for the entire year.
And that's way too much. 2 hours, and this is when you have 2 hours to cover, you have topics like this that got nothing to do with the game on the court. And I guess they feel like, oh, we gotta find a way to cover this amount of time in this space somehow, even if it means bringing Kai Cenat on to First Take, who, I mean, shout out to Kai, because he's build up his platform organically, even though he could be a bit extra on his streams, but he's built it organically, but he don't know shit about basketball, and you know it.
And they can say one thing and then just like go back on it, and no one will notice, but I noticed, and I'm worse for it, honestly. And it's one of those things again where it's just like, why we don't need to have these conversations. There's so many other things that we can talk about. All it takes is one bad game for people to be like, oh, I don't think he's the face of the league. Every face of the league has had awful games before in the playoffs. This is not a shock. We act like these guys are invincible, and they're not. And it really bugs me that we treat them like they're Greek gods, and then they have that one Achilles heel game, and then we act surprised that they're human, and it really bugs me how we talk about superstars. That's all. Thank you guys for watching the end of the video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate you guys. Have a good one. Love you. Bye.